I'm playing a 25, 50, 100 live stream and buying in for $20,000, the largest amount of my life. My opponents tonight are the GOATs of YouTube, and Andrew Neeme and I get into a 17K pot to close out the night.
Doug, I was talking to Wolfgang before the stream. This is his biggest buy-in ever. Wolfgang has started off in fuego.
We hand over $20,000 in cash over to the lodge cage. They count it up and exchange me for some chips. We're ready to battle.
This just in. Breaking news. Our top story tonight. Seat number 2, Wolfgang, poker vlogger, some of you guys might know. Buying it for $20,000.
All right, we're on the table. The nerves are kicking in, but we decide to 3-bet Mariano here with ace-queen offsuit. Pretty standard. Just going to go through the motions here, and he decides to put in the call. You can see we're a pretty heavy favorite to win this one, and the flop comes 4 deuce deuce rainbow. I decide to bet out for $850. I'm gonna have a lot of pocket pairs, ace king, king queen, stuff like that. So I bet at $850, and Mariano puts in the call. What disrespect there with the queen 9 offsuit.
$850 to go. Mariano's gonna float here with the queen 9. Oh, queen on the turn. Oh man, both players improved to top pair. Wolfgang in the lead though, ace kicker. I just gotta decide how he wants to play it.
After seeing this great turn card, we decide to continue betting. We made our hand now. I'm not going to slow down. I decided to bet out for $2,500. Probably could go a little bit larger too and charge some of those flush draws as well. But I like my sizing, and Mariano's not complaining as well. He has a queen, puts in the snap call, and we're off to the river. River comes as 6 of clubs, really shouldn't change too much. Mariano either has a queen, a middling pocket pair. So against his entire range here, I want to go large. I decide to do that. He snap calls me, and we are going to scoop down a pretty healthy pot to start the night. $16,500, washing away some of those nerves and moving us right along into the next hand. Hand number 2, shark bait, 3-bets Mariano with ace-king offsuit, and Doug gets paid the big bucks to be the announcer, so I'll just let him announce my hand.
Oh, Wolfgang's got the aces. Oh, man. Welcome to the game.
I decided to come in for a 4-bet. I think it's obvious I have to do so. My sizing, though, might be a little bit large. My logic was I'm going to be out of position, but I think somewhere around $3,000 would be a little bit better. Either way, though, I don't expect Sharkbait to fold this exact hand. I know it's early on the night. He doesn't know how I'm going to be playing. But yeah, he can't be folding ace-king offsuit, can he?
How is Sharkbait going to play it? Going to be tough to get away from ace-king here.
Shark.
Oh my god, what? What? Ace-king into the muck? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, does anyone ever get stacked on this stream? And we got queens, Rick, right back into the action. I'm thinking this goes raise 3-bet fold. What do you think?
Cruising right along, hand number 3, Andrew Neeme, one of my poker idols. He raises it up to $250. And Mariano comes in for a 3-bet to $800. It's obviously at this point, he's trying to play aggressive at the start, just getting there, V-pip it up. And Doug, what hand do I have this time?
Oh my god, Wolfgang has got ace-king! What is going on? Oh my lord! Wolfgang is just right in there.
Got to be coming in for a 4-bet. I like to do so to $2,100. I love the sizing here. It's going to get only the decent hands to hold here, and Mariano's definitely going to get out of the way, right?
Mariano in there too. Mariano's, I think he's going to put on a show today, Rick. What do you think? He's in there with the 9 deuce.
Wrong again. Mariano puts in the call as well as Andrew. We are going 3 ways to the flop, which comes gin for us, ace, 8, deuce, rainbow. The action checks over to me, and I decide to go for a bet of $3,000. Andrew does not want to get rid of his hand just yet. He puts in the call, and Mariano finally releases, leading us off to the turn, which comes as 6 of clubs. Andrew checks it over to me for a second time, and now I think we have a decision. Could be betting here. If I do, I like a small sizing. Also could be checking behind here and picking off bluffs on the river. Into the 12K pot, I decided to bet out for $4,000, utilizing a 5K chip for the first time in my life. Pretty surreal. Put that 5K pink starburst chip out there, announce to the table it's $4,000, and I think Andrew has a pretty easy decision here with the queens. He finds the fold, and we are taking down a 16K pot again. Second one of the night, and it's only a few hands into the video.
Wolfgang has started off in fuego. Winning 3 of the first 4 hands, I believe.
All right, just pocket 10s here, and we are going 3 ways to the flop when I raise it up to $300 and get 2 calls. We're going 3 ways to the flop, which comes Jack 9-4 with 2 spades. Sharkbait checks it over to me. I'm out of position to U-Chan. That usually means I'm going to start with a check. That's what I decided to do, and he checks behind, leading us off to the turn, which comes a board pairing 9. I decided to play my 10 slow and check it over to U-Chan for a second time. The logic is here. If he has a jack, I want to get to a cheap showdown. So when I check it over to him, he now decides to bet out for $600. And this is a very easy decision for me. I toss in 2 chips and we are off to the river. The river comes the Ace of Hearts, which is a great card for me. I'm going to have more of that in my range. I check it over to Yu-Chan. He realizes that with his 6s and checks behind. No more value there on the river, but scooping in a $2,200 pot definitely feels pretty great.
There you see the cumulative winnings. Wolfgang has come out of the gate running in the biggest game he's ever played in, up 16,000. Yushan up 10,000. Alex 2,000. Brad's up 625. Everyone else in the red. Mariano and Sharkbait throwing the party right now.
In this next hand, Alex raises it up in the +2 position with Queen 10 offsuit. Andrew Neeme is in the cutoff and he puts in the call for $300. Sharkbait completes from the big blind and I decide to call from the $100 straddle. Off 4 ways to a flop, which comes King Queen 4 with 2 clubs, and the action checks through, bringing me gin on the turn. It comes the Queen of clubs. I now have 3 of a kind. I also have the Ace of clubs in my hand.
Trips for both Wolfgang and Alex here.
I like a bet here, and I decide to bet out for $750. Alex has a similar hand, although I have him crushed. He has a queen with a club in it as well, and puts in the call. He's the only other one to do so, and we are going heads up to the river. The river comes the 9 of spades. It really shouldn't change too much. I want to go large here and target any of his queens. I decide to toss out a yellow chip there and make it 2175. Alex thinks about it for a little while. He's a little skeptical of my bet. It's pretty much a bluff catcher at this point with his queen. I know it's crazy to say that, but it's true. 2175, he ultimately decides to put in the call. It's going to be hard for him to fold there with trips. And we are taking down a $7,000 pot, $3,900 worth of profit in that hand alone.
Wolfgang continues his assault today.
All right, Mariano and I have known each other for like 4 years, ever since our 2-3 days at the Bicycle Casino. This is a fun hand. We're going to battle with him once again. I raise Ace-10 of spades up from the +1 position, and he gets spicy here and 3-bets me from the small blind all the way up to $1,500. Occasionally I could be 4-betting, and now knowing his exact hand and how splashy he's been up into this point, I definitely would have preferred a 4-bet in this spot. But I'm not folding my Ace-10 suited for a few more $100. I put in the call, and we are going off to a flop. The flop comes King, Jack, Deuce, Rainbow, and he decides to bet out for $1,000. Easiest call of my life here. I have a backdoor spade draw. I have the gutter to Broadway, so I decide to put in the call and see what he does on the turn. The turn now comes the 4 of diamonds, and he slows down and checks. I think I make a mistake here and I check behind. I think my logic was I didn't want to get blown off the hand, but I definitely need to be betting here and putting pressure on his hands. If he calls me here on the turn, I can blast off on the river and probably get him to fold everything but a strong king. So yeah, small mistake here, but we're going to see if we can spike the river. The river now comes the 3 of diamonds, so it really doesn't change too much unless he had a hand like Ace-5. He now takes back the betting lead and bets out into me for $3,000, and I go into the tank. This line does not make too much sense. I'm thinking about raising here as a bluff, obviously, but you can see I have the check mark in the hand. I have the best hand, but in case he has like a hand like Queen Jack, a raise here would be potent, and obviously he'd have to fold. If I want to raise here, it'd be around $10,000 to $12,000, and ultimately I do decide to fold my hand, but you got to give me credit here. I was thinking about doing it, and maybe in the next high-stake cash game live stream, I'll eventually pull the trigger. It honestly just felt criminal to put $12,000 in there as a bluff. I mean, how can you blame me? It's super high stakes. I'm playing on all my own money. And yeah, I didn't pull the trigger this time, but you have my word. Next time, if I find myself in a similar spot where I just don't believe them, I'm going to pull the trigger and put my money where my mouth is. Little mid-session update here with Slick Rick himself. Slick Rick, what do you think of the way I've been playing tonight?
You have been zigging when you should be zigging. You're playing amazing, not making any mistakes.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So far, we are running like absolute sun, anything, Mars, you know, all the planets. We're hitting everything. We're getting there on the turn, filling up on the river against our idols. And biggest buy-in ever, biggest stakes I've ever played. Just had to check in, a little mid-session update, show the people
Absolutely.
my raw emotion, and
It's good to have you, Wolfgang. You're taking your shot.
Thanks, man.
You're doing well, and you're playing with your idols. These are the guys that inspired you to do what you do.
absolutely, man. Yeah,
Glad to have you.
And thanks for having me out here.
Hey,
I
man,
appreciate
always
it.
a pleasure.
Hey, but I got more work to do.
You do.
Hey,
Go get them.
It's 100, 200 now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 100, 200. We're gonna get back in there, and the stack isn't safe. We have to put it to the test here and see if we can run it up some more. 6 figures?
Absolutely.
Let's go. All right, next hand of note, Alex opens up pocket queens from the +2 position, and Andrew in the cutoff puts in the call. All right, pause. A little side note here, those little red dots next to the names of Alex, Andrew, and myself are the knit game buttons. Yes, everyone does not have chicken pox. It's not a red button there for that. We all still have our knit button, meaning if we're the last one on the table to not have won a hand within that certain amount of time, we're gonna owe everyone $300. So yeah, it's a pretty expensive one here, the largest one of my life, $300 a person. So times 7, that's $2,100 if you are the last person with a knit button in front of you. So when Alex makes it 300 and Andrew calls, I'm gonna be defending here with 5-3 offsuit, and we are gonna go 3 ways to a flop. We flop Jin, it comes 7-5-5, bang, we flop 3 of a kind.
3 of a kind for Wolfgang. Oh, and Alex has queens. And it's the Nick game. Ouch.
I start out with a check like I would with my entire range here, and Alex decides to bet out for $700. Andrew decides to fold, pretty obviously there, and the action's back on me. Now here's the situation. Do we check raise, or do we just put in the call and go for the check raise on the turn? I decide to just put in the call here, which I think is another mistake. Definitely need to be check raising here and getting more money in the middle. You can see we're playing around 22,000 effective, so I got to check raise here if I want to get stacks in. If he has an overpair like he does, he's in pretty rough shape. Got to target all those hands, but in the moment, I decide just to call. I can't make the right decision every time, and we see a pretty bad card on the turn. It comes a 7 of hearts. It's a pretty bad card in the sense that it's going to scare all of his overpairs. It's not a bad card because he has a lot of 7s in his range. I'd expect him to have very minimal of them. So I check it over to him, and he wisely decides to check behind, controlling the size of the pot and seeing what I do on the river. The river card now comes the 10 of spades. Interesting card here. It really shouldn't change too much unless his overpair was pocket 10s. I gotta go for value. We're playing the knit game, so I might be blasting here on the river with some bluffs, just trying to get rid of that button. I decide to overbet the river for $25.75. Yes, an awkward number, but it gets snap called by Alex. He's a non-believer. Maybe I could have gone a little bit larger there, like 3,500 or 4,500. Who knows? Could have got a little bit more greedy, but still stoked that I went for the overbet there. Shout out to Alvin, and yeah, he snap calls me. We are taking down that $7,500 pot, but more importantly, we get to throw back that knit button and essentially make myself an additional $300 in that hand.
Does a little celebration dance there, feeling himself.
All right, we've been sun running this session, and it's going to continue when we look down at King Kong from the cutoff. I make it $300, and Yu-Chan and Trey both put in the call. We are going 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace, 8, deuce with 2 hearts. Trey starts with a check. I have pocket kings on an ace-high board. Additionally, I'm in between 2 other opponents, and I decide to start with a check. Yu-Chan has the heart draw. Will he decide to bet? Yes, he will. $400 is the price of poker. Trey decides to put in the call, which is an interesting line. Just check calling here on this board. Could he have an ace? Could he have pocket 8s? I don't know, man. He puts in the 400, and I decide to call as well. Occasionally, I think a check raise here might make some sense. I'll be checking in the middle of 2 opponents anyways with all of my ace king and ace queen, so could check raise here and protect against those heart draws, or just call here and hope not to see a heart on the turn. And we don't get it. It comes the jack of diamonds. However, the jack is a sneaky card because Trey now catches up with 2 pair, and he takes a commanding lead in this hand. He's going to slow play it and checks it over to me. I'm not going to bet out into Yu-Chan, who checks behind, taking the free card, which fills up Trey. It comes the 8 of diamonds. He now has a boat. Trey decides to bet out for $2,400, which is a massive bet. It's a nearly pot-sized bet, actually an overbet in this spot, and usually when other players overbet, they're saying they're polarized, and in this spot, Trey definitely is polarized. He has the nuts. Lucky for me though, I sniff it out and get rid of my hand, partially in fact because Yu-Chan is behind me, so I don't want to get into a spot where I call here, and then Yu-Chan rips it all in, and I want to puke. I get rid of my hand, Yu-Chan does as well, And lucky for us, we save some money there and lose kind of the minimum there with pocket kings. This next hand is a fun one. Trey raises it up to 375 from the hijack, and Andrew Neeme decides to 3-bet the good old 6-5 of diamonds from the cutoff. Mariano puts in the call with pocket fives. Sharkbait does as well, and I look down at my hand, the beautiful ace, queen offsuit from the under the gun / straddle. I think this definitely should be a squeeze 4-bet situation, and I should make it like, I don't know, $3,000 or more. Instead though, I just flat call, which I think is a huge mistake. You don't want to take this hand 5 ways, which is unfortunately what we are going to be doing. Ace queen offsuit going 5 ways, and we flop ourselves actually the best hand when the board comes ace high. Ace 9-4 to be exact, and the action checks over to Andrew Neeme. He has a backdoor diamond draw and some backdoor straight draws as well, and decides to bet out small here, which I like the sizing of $700. Mariano gets out of the way, and we have Sharkbait crushed. Don't tell him that. He puts in the $700, and I'm not going to be raising in this spot though into a multi-way situation. Andrew decided to 3-bet pre and then bet into 4 other players on the flop. Pretty strong line from him. I'm just going to flat call the $700. And that brings in Trey as well with the pocket 8s. And he drills it on the turn. It comes to 8 of spades.
Pot is building an 8 of spades. And Trey hits his set.
Oh no, you can see I had a ton of equity on the flop. And it goes all the way down to 0% on the turn. Never a great situation, and the action checks over to Trey. He takes up the betting lead from Andrew Neeme and bets out for $2,400 into 3 other opponents. At this point, you have to be thinking that Trey has such a strong hand. If he had a marginal hand, he would just check it over to Andrew, but he decides to bet out into him. Definitely a strong line, and Andrew gets out of the way. Sharkbait puts in the call, which is also pretty strange and concerning. If Trey's line is very strong, Sharkbait's line either is a super strong draw or he has a very strong ace, or maybe even aces up. The reason why I'm saying this is because I do in fact put in the call, but I think in the long run here, folding is the better play, saving myself $2,400 and maybe even another street on the river. Still, I decide to put in the call, leading us off to the river, which comes the 10 of spades. Sharkbait and myself both check it over to Trey, who decides to rip his entire stack in for nearly $11,000. The action folds back around to me, and now I find myself in a situation where it's $11,000 for me to call, and if I call, the pot will be $36,000. At the same time though, is he ever doing this as a bluff or with a worse hand? I think it's almost 0% chance, so after looking at him, he's breathing pretty heavy. We decide to fold and not give him another $11,000, which I'm pretty stoked that I did. I hate that turn card, but I love the fold there on the river, and we save ourselves another $11,000. Pretty crazy.
He's going to lay it down.
Good lay down.
He does.
In this next hand, Sharkbait raises the cutoff with Jack 9 offsuit. I find myself on the dealer button with Jack 10 of hearts, and I decide to come in for a 3-bet. Trey decides to cold call, and that brings in Sharkbait as well. We are going 3 ways in position to a flop, which gives me top pair, 10-7-5 with 2 diamonds. Also keep in mind, we are playing the nit game once again. Yes, I won that last one. Let's see if I can get rid of my button here. The action checks over to me. You can see I have a 60% chance to win this hand, but it's going to go up to 100% when I go for the C-bet into 2 other opponents on the flop. And both of them release, which means I get to release my nit button and essentially win another $300 once again. Let's go. All right, we've played hands with Andrew Neeme and Mariano. Let's try to get into one here with Brad Owen. He raises up to $300 from the dealer button, and I find myself with ace 9 offsuit and decide to call him for $250 more. We're off to a flop, which is way better for him. It comes king 7 deuce. Although I'll probably have more of the pocket deuces, and yeah, 7s seem to be evenly distributed, but let's not forget whose favorite hand that is, so you gotta assume that I'm gonna have more of those. I check it over to Brad, and he goes for a C-bet here, which is pretty standard. He's gonna have a lot more of the strong kings. He makes it $250, but I didn't drive down to the lodge to not try to make some moves on some of my idols, so I decide to float him here for that price, and we're off to the turn, which comes the ace of spades.
Wolfgang and Brad Owen. Heads up.
If I was thinking about trying to outplay Brad, all that goes out of the window when I make top pair. Unless he has a hand like ace king or ace queen, we're going to be in good shape here, and I check it over to Brad. He knows this is a great card for his range, and he continues to represent it to the tune of $850. I'm going nowhere when I call the flop. I'm going to have some random hands. So with his entire range here, I think he can continue betting for $850. Obviously, I'm going nowhere, and I put in the call, bringing in an interesting card on the river to the king of spades. I don't love it because he's going to have a lot of king, queen, king, jack that now completes on the river. I'm not going to bet out into him. I check it over to him. We see a snap check behind. What does that mean? A 3K pot is getting shipped my way, and now we have taken down Andrew, Mariano, and Brad all within the first half of this live stream. All right, this next hand is a fun one. We won that last net game, so let's play it one more time. $300 a person. I look down at ace-5 of spades. I decide to raise it up to $350 from the hijack, and Yuchan with the 4-3 of spades gets spicy here and 3-bets me to $11.50. When the action folds back around to me, I'm out of position to Yuchan. Don't want to be flat calling here. You gotta be 4-betting, putting the pressure on him. If he has a hand like 10s, 9s, 8s, stuff like that, you want to just lay it on heavy, put him in a tough spot. Additionally, ace-5 of spades is a great hand to 4-bet. That's what I decided to do, and let me just make it known, I have never done that before, let alone in a 25, 50, 100 game.
Puts in the 4-bet, and that's going to shut it down, and he'll cash in his nit button. Nice aggressive play there from Wolfgang.
Putting the 4-bet on here was definitely nerve-wracking with the ace-5 of spades. I make it $31.50, and you can see we get the snap fold from Yuchan, and I pound my chest letting Andrew Neeme know that he made a good decision. There was a side bet going on. Andrew and Mariano chose different players from the table who still had their nit button, and the last one was going to have to pay out something like that. Andrew decided to choose me for his team, so by me winning that hand, it helped Andrew win a side bet with Mariano. If you guys like that aggression I showed in the last hand with the 4-betting, the ace-5 suited, definitely let me know down in the comments. Appreciate all the support. And without further ado, let's move into the last hand of the night and the best hand of the night. Pocket fours, the one you guys came from, the thumbnail, Wolfgang versus Andrew Neeme. Let's see how it plays out. We're in the cutoff, and I decide to raise up pocket fours to $300. Pocket fours is Ethan's favorite hand. And before this live stream, he was giving me a bunch of encouragement and advice. So he was here in spirit. Pocket fours, I raise it up to $300. And Andrew Neeme in the under the gun position decides to call with Jack 9 offsuit. You can see he does in fact have the nit button, so that's why he's calling a little lighter than usual. But Jack 9 offsuit is a pretty great hand, and he flops the best of it when it comes Queen Jack 3 with 2 spades. Andrew checks it over to me like I expect him to do with a large portion of his range. And this is a pretty great board for me, so I down bet it for $275, and Andrew puts in the easy call. Now, if I could handpick any card in the deck, the 4 of diamonds would definitely be what I want to see on the turn. Bang! We turn 3 of a kind.
Poker 24/7
There's the set for Wolfgang.
After getting called on the flop, I'm hoping he has a hand like ace queen, queen jack, maybe even, I don't know, king queen, stuff like that. Maybe a big spade draw, anything. I want him to continue here. We're playing pretty deep. We're playing $20,000 effective, and Andrew checks it over to me. Now, if I want to play for stacks, I need to set that up by the river. What does that mean? I got to bet pot here. I got to bet more than pot. We got to put money in the middle. I have a great hand. I'm also going to have a lot of bluffs like ace king, king 10, maybe even 2 spades in it. So into the $1,200 pot goes 3 purple chips. That's $1,500. And let's see what Andrew Neeme decides to do. He has a pair, and sometimes a pair is good, especially when there's a lot of draws out there. So I don't blame him here for putting in that call. And let's see what the river card brings in. The Queen of Clubs peels off. Interesting card because now I fill up. I'm not worried about any of those draws that missed. And Andrew checks it over to me for a third time. Oh man, 4,200 in the middle. And he has 18K. Obviously can't shove here. That'd be pretty ludicrous. But with the queen pairing there, hopefully he has a hand like king queen or ace queen that didn't decide to raise me pre-flop. For that reason, I need to go large here. I got to target all those strong hands. Maybe he'd even call me with a hand like ace jack or something like that. Oh man, I got to go large. This is a surreal moment. $6,500 into that $4,200 pot. I decided to overbet it for a healthy amount. I didn't just go a few hundred over. I went like $2,000 over the pot, which is pretty crazy. And Andrew goes into the tank. You can see this polarizing overbet puts him in a tough situation. I'm going to be doing this with all my missed spades and my ace king and king 10. So he doesn't have an easy fold. At the same time though, he just has a jack. It's a bluff catcher. So I wouldn't blame him for folding here. But please, Andrew, put in that $6,500. Make my night. He does. He puts in the call. I turn over the boat, announce it to the table, and he taps the table. And even though Andrew was the driving force in me starting my own vlog, that does not exempt him from getting a bang sticker put on his sweater.
All good.
Oh, God, he's going to get stickered, too. He's going to get bang bank stamped.
You gonna put it on me?
I don't want to piss off this one though. Where do you want it?
What is he doing here?
You win a big pot and you just get stickered. The man's up 30,000. Let him just put a sticker on, whatever.
All right, you guys, that wraps up the session. Got in for 20,000 and got out for 47. Profit of 27,000. I mean, everything I do is authentic on the channel, and that's unbelievable to play with Andrew, Brad, Mariano, and all the other legends on the table. Like, that's insane. For me to come away with the money is great, but just the experience and to like break the ice and get into 50, 100, 200, 400, that's amazing, man. I can't even speak right now. If you guys take nothing away from this video, follow your dreams. I'm not even emotional about the money. It's just that I put myself into a tough situation and I came out ahead. And I'm really proud of myself. Let's go. Look at this. Look at that. It's amazing. I'm in an amazing room. Shout out to Skull Mike. Shout out to Slick Rick, Skull Mike, Andrew, Brad, Doug, everyone that puts out an amazing show here. Got Joe, the floor member. Got Jason, one of the owners. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. Thank you for watching it. If any of you guys are new, please subscribe. I don't ever get emotional on the channel except for that one time that I lost like 20 grand on the Hustler, but you know, a lot of cool videos to come. I'm gonna be playing a lot of 25-50 here at the Lodge and up at TCH Dallas. A few tournaments, hopefully I can make a deep run in as well, and appreciate all the support, you guys. Put your heart into everything you do. Believe in yourself, you can do it. 27K, I'm gonna leave it all here at the Lodge in a safe lockbox, so don't come and try to take it from me. And that's going to go into future live streams, so a lot more cool content coming your way. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. Leave a comment down below letting me know how I played, if I made any mistakes, or what you thought about this video. Or in general, did I step out of line and take a shot in a way too big of a game? Let me know down below. Interested to hear your thoughts. Go follow me on Instagram. We're about to hit 200,000 followers on Instagram. I can't believe I'm saying that as well. I had a video that got 24 million views. Everything's coming together in 2023, and it's all thanks to you guys. Really appreciate all the support. Shout out to my editor, Lucas. You are amazing, man. Appreciate you more than you know. And good luck on the felt, you guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.